What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another in-depth video. Shout out to the channel name, Santi D'Angelo. Lovely channel, by the way. I really like the content they make because I truly get to go in depth and it truly opened my mind to speak deeply on things that not just I believe, but things he speak on and how in depth he goes. So we're definitely gonna be talking about that. And yeah, shout out to the people that been showing love and showing support to the videos. I just want to say thank you. Show some gratitude towards you. And the title says today, the law of power that you ignore and that is destroying your life. Interesting take. It's a lovely thing, but let's get into it. Let's go.
What if I told you that truth, in and of itself, has no value? It seems absurd, but think about it. How many times in history has the lie won? How many people have been destroyed not by what they did, but by what others believed they did? How many leaders have been blindly followed, not because they were the most intelligent or competent, but because they created the illusion that they were? The reality is simple. What you believe doesn't matter. What others believe does. We live in a world where truth is not objective, it is a battlefield. Whoever controls perception controls what we call reality. This goes for everything: politics, business, relationships, and even your own identity. Truth doesn't win because it is true. It wins when it is best sold. This explains how
And that's my thing. If you understand the audience you trying to sell to, if you understand what they need from you or what they desire, and you could definitely sell that to them in such a way. It don't have to be the truth, but if you sell it to them the way they want to receive it, you will make money and they will follow you. Right? So you have to understand that, you know, the people you're trying to sell things to, that's the people you target. Whether it's the truth or a lie, you have to understand what they need. If you mean what they need, guess what? They're gonna follow you and they will support what you do. And that's how you make money.
mediocre people rise to the top while geniuses die ignored. How absurd ideas gain traction while hard facts are discarded. Truth without an owner is weak. But a well-told lie can become unshakable. Think about Apple. When Steve Jobs returned to the company in the 1990s, Apple was on the brink of bankruptcy. Jobs didn't reinvent technology right away. He reinvented the perception of Apple. He created an aura of exclusivity, turned users into disciples, and made the world believe that Apple didn't sell products, but a way of life. The result? The company was reborn and became one of the most valuable in the world. This didn't happen because the products were revolutionary from day one. It happened because Jobs mastered a brutal truth. If people believe in something, it becomes real to them. Now look at politics. Dictators throughout history
And understand the power of the mind in itself. Well, we need to get an understanding of the mind because the mind is so powerful. Whatever you believe within the mind, it becomes the reality of you. It becomes the exact reality of that. So if you believe that you are a loser, if you believe that you are somebody who will never have friends, who will never make it in life, right? Will never proceed and move forward, guess what's gonna happen? Your life will be shit. You'll be depressed. You'll be unhappy. You'll be sad. So you have to understand, the things you think on a daily basis definitely impact you a lot. It impacts you a lot. So you have to understand, you have to change your way of thinking. And you think in a positive light. You think in a good way. You think in a way that's going to put you in a good place so you can move forward. And understand you don't put nonsense or beliefs that is not going to put you in a place where you want to be.
haven't ruled by brute force alone. They've ruled by narrative. Hitler, for example, didn't take power by direct violence. He used perception to convince an entire nation that he was the only solution to their problems. He didn't need to prove he was right. He just needed to make people feel that he was. And here's the problem. If you don't control how you're perceived,
And the thing about Hitler, I watched a lot of his talks and speeches and stuff like that. Even though I don't understand what he said, but even in the tone of how he speak is like he's trying to sell them such a, trying to sell them on what he's saying so good. And in that there is tone manipulation, if you understand what manipulation is. But the strategy, the way he went about it, telling whatever he had to the German people to make them believe it, he did it on such a great level that he convinced them, fully convinced them that, listen, we're poor now, but guess what? If you vote for me, if you believe in me, I could get us exactly where all of us want to be as a collective group, not just me, not just me only, but the whole country will prosper if you're on my side. And he didn't just do that, but to convince so many people, so many millions of people actually, to come together and understand, well, okay, I believe in this man that he would do the best, even though you don't know him from nowhere. But selling people on such a thing is that in itself is very powerful. And that's why Hitler ended up, you know, doing what he did. Because he had that level of power. He know how to speak. He used his mouthpiece. That's why the mouthpiece is so important. Even though people hate him for what he did, I'm not saying what he did was right, but at least he knew how to get to the people, and get what he want from the people. So it won't just benefit him, but benefit them in return. And that's why they kept listening to him. That's what it is.
Perceived, someone else will. In your work, there is no point in being competent if you do not appear competent. There is no point in being loyal in a relationship if your image says otherwise. There is no point in being a good leader if you do not project presence and confidence. The world does not judge the truth. It judges the most convincing version of the truth.
Absolutely.
This may seem unfair, but that is how the game works. Social media has made this even more evident. Influencers become millionaires by selling the image of a perfect life, while those who truly master a subject can go unnoticed. The difference? The ability to control perception. They understood that it is not enough to be good, you have to appear better than others. If you do not internalize this rule, you will.
And I understand that perception is so powerful because, you could sell a dream by the life that you live. If you portray a certain lifestyle, when people see you, people looking at you, the judgment they make in their mind is, oh, he has a good life, she has a good life. I want a life like that. So I'm going to follow this person. So I could have a life like the life they have. And that's what I want. So guess what? I'm going to follow they lead. Listen to what they say. You have to understand, perception is so powerful that it can make you believe in something that you know nothing about just because you've seen it. And if you can sell that in a good way to people and make them believe it, I guarantee you there's no way you wouldn't make money. It's powerful, trust me.
Live at a disadvantage. Because while you wait for your truth to be recognized, others will be shaping the world's narrative. And make no mistake, in the game of perception, there is no neutrality. If you do not control your story, someone will rewrite it for you. If what others believe matters more than the truth, the inevitable question arises: who is in control of this perception? If you look closely, you will realize that the greats of history, from emperors to modern tycoons, were not necessarily the most intelligent, the most ethical, or the most capable. They simply mastered the art of shaping how the world saw them. This brings us to the golden rule of power. Whoever controls perception controls reality. It is not talent that defines who advances. It is not effort that defines who wins. It is the ability to construct a convincing narrative about oneself. Want an example? Elon Musk. Many believe that he is the greatest genius of our time, an unsurpassed visionary. But Musk did not invent electric cars, rockets, or artificial intelligence. He bought ideas, invested in them, and above all, made the world believe that he was the center of these innovations. This is perception control. Napoleon Bonaparte did the same thing. During his campaigns, he often returned to France ahead of his troops, spreading reports of victories before the soldiers even arrived. In this way, he shaped public perception before any other version of history could take hold. When people saw him, they were already certain that they were in the presence of an invincible military genius. The reality of the battles did not matter, only what people believed had happened. If you think this only happens on grand scales, look around.
And that's the thing, perception is it is so powerful that like you could tell what I'm a good person, right? You could tell people I'm a good person, but then your actions show different. Your actions show that you are a terrible person, show that you're unkind, you're not very loving, not very giving. So then that in itself will make them view in a different light because what you say is not what they see. The perception is not what they see versus what you said. So you have to understand that that in itself is very powerful. And the action you take behind it too means something as well. Because that sell them the dream too. The action sell them the dream as well. That's what make them believe in what you said or believe in what they see from you.
Around you, in your workplace, how many people less competent than you have been promoted? How many times has someone less talented become a reference in a field simply because they knew how to better market themselves? This is not a coincidence. It is strategy. And this is where many people go wrong. They believe that all they need to do is be good at what they do, that all they need is character, and that the truth will sooner or later be recognized. But the world does not work that way. The market, social relations, and even personal relationships are governed by perception. You do not have to be the best. You have to appear to be the best. This means that if you don't take control of how you are perceived, others will, and it will rarely be in your favor.
Absolutely.
So how do you control this perception? The first step is to understand the game of authority. Psychologist Robert Cialdini, in his book Influence, Psychology, explains that people tend to follow those who appear to be authority figures. This means that your appearance, your tone of voice, your posture, and even the way you respond to criticism define how others will treat you. If you appear uncertain, hesitant, or desperate for validation, people will sense this and treat you.
And tell you what, that's why people like confident people who feel good within themselves. Because somebody who's confident, they're always gonna go for what they want, a go getter, right? So they're always chasing and like, okay, yes, I want this, that. I'm gonna go for it and actually go for it. But somebody who's uncertain about themselves, lack self awareness, lack self knowledge. They don't know who they are. They're lost. So how can you follow somebody who's lost? It wouldn't make no sense. Versus somebody who's confident, they know who they are. They stand on who they are. They believe in who they are. That's why people look up to them. People say, I want to be like him. I want to be like her. He inspired me a lot. She inspired me a lot. Because the confidence within themselves show people that, yes, they're certain about what they want and they go for it. And that's why people like confidence.
Is worthless. Now, if you control your presence, project confidence, and dominate your communication, you create a field of influence where your word carries more weight than objective truth. This is why brands spend millions on branding. No one pays $5,000 for a Louis Vuitton bag just for the quality of the leather. They pay for the perception of status that the brand has built over the years. The same goes for people. Your image is your brand, and if you don't manage it with surgical precision, you'll just be one of the crowd. A fascinating detail is that
And just one thing I would say, let's say, just let me give you an example. Let's say you're making YouTube videos, right? YouTube, TikTok. And the people who know you personally, will probably watch your videos, probably show love. Absolutely. Will show love, will leave a like. Would see you never really talk about your videos like that. When they see you in person, they won't conversate. But the one thing they would do when they see others showing love and saying, oh, I agree with what you say. Tell you what you said was so right. You changed my life. Now the people who know you want to show love and say, tell you what, oh, you saying the right thing, you doing the right thing. That inspired me because you have to understand that now they see other people who are not in the same space as you, agreeing and saying what you're doing is good. So now they start saying, oh, okay. So now it show them some level of social proof that what you're saying has value. And that's why now they turn and say, oh, you inspire me. What you said was facts. So you have to understand that a lot of these things, and that in itself is powerful. There's social proof. You need it. You need that social proof so people could see, okay, I could trust this man because other people trust him. Other people listen to him. Other people want to be like him. So that's the importance of it.
Manipulating perception isn't always conscious. Many people are naturally good at it. Look at the great seducers in history. Casanova, for example, didn't conquer women because he was more handsome or rich than other men. He did it because he knew how to create an aura of mystery and exclusivity around himself. He didn't beg for attention. He made himself desired. And this is the fatal mistake most people make. They try too hard to justify themselves, prove themselves, explain themselves. This weakens them. Those who truly control perception don't convince anyone by force. They create an environment where others want to believe them. That's true power. If it's clear to you that perception is worth more than truth, then you have two choices. Either you control how the world sees you, or you will be a victim of how the world decides to see you. There is no middle ground. You've seen it happen before. People being judged by rumors, missing out on opportunities because they gave the wrong impression, being discarded because they didn't know how to play the perception game. Now, the question is, how can you ensure that this never happens to you? The answer lies in three fundamental rules. They are simple but powerful, and most importantly, most people fail miserably at applying them. But those who understand these rules and master them become practically untouchable. Rule number 1, never justify yourself. It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? But pay attention. Every time you justify yourself too much, you automatically assume an inferior position. You give the other person the power to judge whether or not you're just.
Because you want people to feel sorry for you. That's why you overly justify yourself. Because you want people to feel sorry for you. That's why you always have to, I did. You already lost. You have lost already. The minute you always try to justify yourself, but I did. You finish. There's no power in that. There's no power if steady trying to justify yourself. Instead of saying, that's fine. It's okay. Let's move on. And then you move on. Now it leave a mystery in people's mind. Now they're gonna say, oh, that didn't bother him at all. Why didn't that bother him? Why didn't he try to justify himself? You don't understand. You have to play mind games with people, but not in a direct way, in an indirect way, which keeps them thinking more on the problem of what happened and what type of person you are.
Justification is valid. You turn your own narrative into something that needs external approval. And worse, you give the impression of guilt. Think about great leaders. They don't waste time explaining every decision. They assert it. They project certainty. They make it clear that they don't need validation from others. And that creates respect. If someone wrongly accuses you, the worst mistake you can make is to play the game of desperately trying to defend yourself.
Absolutely.
The right approach is simple.
If you understand that when somebody do you wrong, you don't always have to try to say, but you did that. Sometimes silence is the best thing you could ever do. Just be silent about it. Because the silence in itself, that silence will get loud and that silence will affect them. The person that did you wrong. So all you do is be silent. You say, okay. And you leave it at that. Because the silence in itself has power. A lot of you like to talk too much. Shut up. That is your problem. You like to run your mouths. You keep quiet. You allow that person to be. You're like, okay, we keep it at that. We close it off. It's done. We move on. And guess what? Now that person have to reflect upon what they did to you. And now they feel bad of what they did to you. Because they cannot get what they want from you. They cannot get under your skin. When they realize they cannot get under your skin, guess what happened? Or they're like, what can I do? Then now they come and apologize to you. I'm sorry. I was wrong for what I did. And guess what? You win. Because now they justifying themselves to you. You have to understand people. You don't always have to speak. This has the same way you feel like speaking is powerful, staying silent is powerful as well. Keep quiet. Always feel the need to speak, feel to say something. You're too emotional. There's a time and a place for everything. You use it when it's necessary. That's it. There's no overdoing of it. You cut it short. Use it when you need to. Simple as that.
Stand your ground and let your actions speak for themselves. Nietzsche once said that he who has to prove that he is right has already lost. This applies to any area of life. If you need to convince someone that you deserve respect, you have already lost that respect. If you need to prove that you are competent, it means that your image is not making that clear. Remember, in the battle of perceptions, quiet confidence beats desperate explanations. Rule number 2, be unpredictable. If you are predictable, you are controllable. If people know exactly how you will react, they can easily manipulate you.
Right.
And here's the thing.
And that's the thing, People like to always tell people their next move. Why would you do that? Why would you tell somebody your next move? I don't care. Mother, father, sister, brother, auntie, cousin. You don't tell people what you do next. You don't do that because guess what? You're going to tell somebody who's close to you. But I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Right? They might have good intentions for you. They might have a good heart towards you. But guess what? They might tell somebody else. Might tell a neighbor. They might tell their friend. But their friend don't have no good intentions for you. Their heart are not good towards you. So why do you speak and ongoingly about the things that you do? And then you wonder why your life, you're not in a place where you want to be. You wonder why your life not going in the direction you want it to go. Because you feel the need to tell people your problems. You feel the need to tell people your progress in life. Not everybody should know your progress in life. Only you should know your progress in life. You're giving your power to other people and then wonder why you cannot have nothing for yourself. Because you like to talk, you like to gossip. Shut up and do what you need to do in silence. Because nobody need to know. None of them need to know. When it's done, then they see it. Then like, you was doing that the whole time? Yes, I was. Why didn't you tell me? It's none of your business. You don't owe nobody nothing. You don't have to go to nobody to tell them what you're doing. Because you don't owe them that. But you all feel like you all owe people stuff. That's why you gossip endlessly and tell all your troubles, tell all your progress to people. And wonder why they will take it away from you. They will stop you from achieving the things you need to achieve. But you're so foolish in the mind that you cannot even understand that this person is fighting you when they're in your circle. Or not even in your circle, they're just a friend of your friend, wishing bad on you. That's why you stay silent and you move in silence. You do things in silence. You move forward in life in silence. Nobody has to know what you do. It's none of their business. You keep it to yourself. You take care of it. Get it done. When it's done, then they'll see. Then they come and ask you, then you tell them, yes, I did that. There's no reason to go on and tell people endlessly before you do it. Foolishness.
Most people follow patterns so obvious that anyone can exploit them. Want an example? Look at how people react to hate on the internet. Most people get desperate, respond to every attack, try to justify themselves, violating rule number 1, and in the end, only amplify the narrative against themselves. Now, look at how figures like Donald Trump deal with criticism. They never react as expected. They invert the narrative. They create chaos. They make the opponent lose control. Bruce Lee said, "Be like water. Adapt. Change. Don't let people read you easily." This creates a powerful psychological effect. People respect what they can't predict. Unpredictable people are seen as dangerous, and in the game of power, being a little dangerous is essential. This doesn't mean being aggressive or irrational, but rather being a player that no one can completely decipher. Rule number 3. Position yourself first. The biggest mistake you can make is letting others define who you are. Because once that happens, it's almost impossible to regain control of your image. The world loves to label people. If you don't define who you are, someone else will do it for you,
Absolutely.
and it will rarely be in your favor. Consider what Napoleon did.
But you know, yeah, we have to understand. We need to get an understanding that a lot of people don't even know who they are. They lack identity. They have lack of self. Because a lot of people, you ask them who they are, they can't even tell you who they are. They can't because they don't know who they are. They haven't taken the time out to figure out who they are. They haven't taken the time out to figure out what they like. They haven't taken the time out to see what they're into, what they dislike. What are the bad traits about themselves? What are the good traits about themselves? A lot of people don't know who they are. So you lack self-identity. So then people could tell you who you are and you would listen to them because you don't even know who you are. Right? You need the validation of others to feel right within yourself. That is a problem. If you cannot validate yourself and feel full and feel content within yourself, that is a problem. If you steady need the validation of others to feel validated within yourself, you have lost already. You have lost yourself. You lost your identity. Because other people can predict your identity for you. Sad, isn't it?
He created his own legends before his enemies could create narratives against him. He proclaimed himself a genius before anyone had a chance to question it. He defined himself before others had a chance to label him. And that's exactly what you need to do. This means that you must take control of your own story. If you want to be seen as an authority, act like one. If you want to be seen as valuable, project value. If you want respect, never allow the world to treat you any other way. The rule here is simple. If you don't tell the world who you are, the world will decide for you, and you won't like the result. If there's one thing you need to remember from this video, it's this. The world is not governed by truth. It's governed by the perception of truth. And if you don't control that perception, someone else will control it for you. This isn't a theory. This is the reality that has always existed. The rules we've discussed aren't just abstract concepts. They're survival tools. If you stop justifying yourself, becoming unpredictable, and positioning yourself before others, you'll see a dramatic change in how people treat you.
You have to understand, if you sell the dream to the people who want you to sell dreams to them, you will make money. That's it. If you understand, you're selling exactly what that person wanted or that group of people want. If you're selling that, that's all you need to make money. Because they will give in to what you're saying because you you validating exactly what they want to hear from somebody. What they want to hear within their own minds. So therefore, how can you lose? You cannot lose. You can't. Because you sell them the dream that they want to believe in. But that's the end of the video. Very good video, actually. Had a lot of speaking points in it. And yeah, I hope we could learn a lot from this. That's just very powerful. But that's the end of the video. If you like the video, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace and love.